Hi, it's Charlie Stone, and here with me is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, I know the new Honda sales are going really good right now at Honda of Lincoln, and with that, a lot of fresh trade-ins are coming in. Can you tell our listeners about your pre-owned selection?
I'm happy to, Charlie. Like you said, with new Honda sales going very good, we have a lot of fresh trade-ins coming in daily, and not just Hondas. We have just about every maker model you can imagine, with over 100 pre-owned and certified pre-owned to choose from, and prices starting at just $5,900.
Wow, what about financing?
We have financing as low as 3.29% APR on certified Accords and CRV.
Thanks again, Andy. People love the selection and great service at Honda of Lincoln. Maybe it's time you come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Have yourself a classic little Christmas this year by giving Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets as gifts. They're fast, fun, easy, and make great stocking stuffers, party favors, and last-minute presents. Choose from our family of 4 holiday classic scratch tickets with top prizes of $2, $10, $20, and $50,000. And don't forget to pick up tickets for our always popular lotto games like Powerball, Mega Millions, Lucky for Life, Nebraska Pick 5, and more. They'll all make your holidays truly classic. Top prize odds vary by game.
It's fishing season. Bad actors are trolling your business emails, luring you and your employees to take the bait and steal your private information. Make sure your cybersecurity keeps your business from being the catch of the day. At Hamilton, cybersecurity is our business. We are experts at keeping your network and business information secure and off the hook. Contact Hamilton for a vulnerability assessment today. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for 3! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it on a beautiful Wednesday here at 1040 O Street. We're on the 402. Appreciate you guys listening wherever it is you're listening. However it is you're listening on any of our streams, on our app, on the radio dial. Appreciate you tuned in. I am Austin Norman, joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, the 9-year NBA vet, Mr. Erick Strickland. Stricky, what's good, my guy?
You know what's good, man. It's another day on the block. Hump Day Wednesday. It's good to be here. Thank you once again for tuning in, chiming in, and popping in wherever it may be. 937 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We are here 2 to 4 every day. It is always good to be on the block with you, my friend.
That it is. Thanks for popping into the show. Make sure you pop into Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, 29th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. Charles and the crew sponsored this little ditty we call On the Block from 2 to 4 weekdays here on 93.7 The Ticket. Strick, let's just dive right into it. There was a ruling today from West Virginia that a judge granted or maybe it was Ohio or West Virginia, somewhere over there. Anyways, the important part is a judge issued a temporary restraining order on the NCAA so that multiple-time transfer student athletes are immediately eligible to play. Now, the NCAA, as it is wont to do, is seeking an injunction to stay this temporary restraining order to get more clarity on all of this. But in the meantime, Strick, student athletes that have transferred more than one time are free to play. Whatever NCAA sport, they're free to play. They don't have to sit out their year in residence, as the NCAA calls it. And Ross Dellinger just tweeted this out. Got a statement from someone at the NCAA saying, as a result of today's decision impacting Division I student athletes, the NCAA will not enforce the year in residency requirement for multiple time transfers and will begin notifying member schools. Whole lot of teams just got a whole lot better with their second time transfers being eligible, and it looks like they're not going to be punished for it.
Well, so here's the questions that I would throw back, because this is the questions that I would have in my head. What is the purpose for it? Right? Now that NIL is here, in essence, you've got a minor league system of what your professional lives are going to potentially be like. Mm-hmm. Not to the full scale, because you're not an employee of the university per se, but in a sense that in the move you can make money by way of NIL when you do move to another location. Mm-hmm. So in essence, it's kind of like a free agent market. So my question then is, why would the NCAA use this? I personally like using it because I think it creates a lack of work, a lack of, I still think opportunities are there. Mm-hmm. I just think the drive and the persistence to see yourself through adversity. You didn't win because in essence, when you create this system, that's not real life.
No, it's not.
Yes, you can leave a job and go somewhere else and work. You can do that
right away.
So I understand that, so that's real life part of it. But it also hinders the real life aspect of the ability to stick at a place, learn with that place, grow with that place, and have the ability to ascend to a greater position within that same organization.
Work your way up from entryway to CEO, rags to riches, bootstrap stuff.
Yes, and because here's why: being a businessman, being a business owner. One of the things that I found over the landscape over the last 3 years, and to include all of this stuff coming to play, is how hard it is to retain good workers. It's so hard. So we're getting into real life stuff now. It's so hard to find them, identify them, and then you find yourself trying to give more amenities for them, but then it creates a system of, laziness, so to speak, because you're coming for more of the amenities as opposed to
the work.
Mm-hmm. So then the work doesn't get done efficiently as it used to, and so your overhead drops tremendously because you're not getting the work. Not that you're not paying the people, you're just not getting the work. So why are you here? What are you here for? Mm-hmm. So then that's why I have to ask the question: what is it really for? Now, the NCAA, I would assume that it's to minimize just this Humpty Dumpty type of mentality of just jumping from wall to wall without cracking an egg.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But then it can hurt you because sometimes if you look at the statistics, not everybody lands with a horizontal or an upward mobility. Mm-hmm. Some land going downwards. Some land going D2. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's not all hunky dory. I mean, I know we have great calls with On3 and with, the Omaha World Herald, and we talk about recruiting with Brian Munson and all of these guys. But at the end of the day, let's be real about it. It's not all fun and games. It's not all like glitz and glamour. It's not. And there's a lot of people that end up not having the same, they get hurt by it in some instances. So that's why I just want to ask the question. I don't know for sure, what is the NCAA doing it for? That's what I would really want to know. Why are they doing it? And if it doesn't make sense to do it, because NCAA really sometimes do it just for control. Because they need to do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you're going to make it a free-for-all, make it a free-for-all, but, know that there could be consequences down the road for it.
The NCAA shouldn't care where student athletes go to college.
Yeah.
Like, why does it matter? Like the question you're asking, why does the NCAA care? What's the purpose of it? Why, as long as they're a student athlete and they're taken care of, why does the NCAA care where the student athlete is best taken care of? What's the point of their involvement in that? Doesn't seem like there's much of one. So this is where, at least idealistically to me, Strick, the NCAA is out of it, but student athletes learn this lesson on their own. They see these stories of, people in similar situations that go down a level, go to D2, even in the worst case scenario, get left without a home. They just have to be done because no one's picked them up. There's not a room for them. So then it'll start to naturally curtail itself more so than
self-correct itself.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Which you hope, markets do. Right. And I get it. These are student athletes. They're people. They're not, they're not dollar signs floating around there. They're people that are making choices, but you can influence the choices based on the rewards, the punishments in the system. Right now, people are still trying to transfer against the system. There's a lot of punishment there. It almost feels like a rebellion against the NCAA in a lot of ways. Like, even if it is a stupid rule, players are still putting themselves in their transfer portal and putting their careers at risk instead of, like you're saying, sticking it out. Hey, it might not be ideal, but it's not, how can I get away from this? It's what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this?
And here's some real life stuff that I've actually have dealt with by way of experience with friends or even myself, right? Sometimes leaving a location or a position for more money may actually be more detrimental for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to what we talked about yesterday, because sometimes being in a location where someone knows you, unless you know they're going to get fired. But here, the rule works in your favor if that happens. The rules work in your favor because you can just shoot out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And you would probably want to, because guess what? Guess why most people get in the transfer portal? That's a good point. Guess why most people get in the transfer portal?
Coach leaves.
Yes. Because now
position coach leaves, head coach
leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So now you don't know who the heck is coming and how they would view you. So guess where most people, now I'm not saying all, but most people kind of in most sports matriculate or find themselves going back to a place where they had a relationship before.
Some familiarity.
Some familiarity. That's life. That's situations that when things get hard, and we talked about this, I would no. Actually, we may not have talked about it, but were you here where the Landro Verge and that crew was here? Bryce, we weren't working together then.
No.
But here's what I said. I said, one of the things that Nebraska team used to do is they would play good within the system, work the ball, and then when things got hard, they would revert back to what was comfortable, what they knew, which was AAU one-on-one ball or whatever the case may be. So if a team made a run on them and they got down, this is why we talked about this team where we thought had a little bit more maturity in that how they handled those types of situations, whereas those teams used to go back into one-on-one. And so a run would go from an 8-0 run to a 20-3 run. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're taking bad shots and you're like, that's how the situation is. So most of those transfer portal guys find their ways to a coach that was recruiting them before, or a team that liked them before that still happens to still be there, and they have some form of connection, and they think they may get a better shot at. They're not going to, most people don't just shoot to places that they just, it happens. McCord, this situation, but here, like
but that's
the McCord, it's rare, but McCord is coming because of circumstance. Open opportunity.
And because you credit Matt Rule for building that relationship so quickly.
So there's things to that. That's why I say what I said.
We're going to keep talking a lot about that element of the transfer portal, of the relationships here throughout the show. We're going to take a break. Call up Evan Blaine of the Omaha World Herald. Alec Gordon going into the College Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll ask Evan about that. And of course, plenty on the Nebraska quarterback situation, just how drastically that room has changed from the end of the year to now. Plenty of that and plenty more with Evan Bland. He's Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934. 8934 HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Doren. God bless you.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown returns to Lincoln, January 12th, 6:45 p.m. Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Let's throw down right now.
See Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, The Street Profits, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Carlito, and more. It's WWE's Friday Night SmackDown in Lincoln, January 12th. Tickets start at $25 and on sale now. Ticketmaster.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. The holidays are here, and Fairway has everything you need for charcuterie boards, shrimp trays, party platters, wine, beer, spirits, and more. Plus, custom fresh cuts on USDA choice or prime grade beef, all natural pork, fresh chicken, and seafood. Your holiday meals start at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Doren.
Is your heating system ready for cooler weather? Call Bryant to schedule your fall heating check. No matter what brand, call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
New year, new career. The new year is just around the corner. Why not start it off strong with a new career? General Excavating is looking for qualified underground utility project managers. Check out our website, generalexcavating.com, or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Happy holidays from General Excavating.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting partly sunny skies. Winds should be calm as well. We'll see a high of around 47. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies are expected. We'll see a low near 27. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies do return. Temperatures will be a little warmer. We'll see a high of around 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Segment 2, Hour 1 on the block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you. We'll go to our Allo VIP line here in just a sec. Do want to make sure we shout out Brett watching on our YouTube stream. Also brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. Then Sten, John, and Cortland, Tommy, and 6996. Really appreciate y'all tapping in on the Sartor Heyman text line. We will get to you shortly. But for now, we go to that VIP line I mentioned, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. And we welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. We talked to Evan at 2:30 on Wednesdays. Really appreciate your time as always, Evan. I ended last week's conversation by asking you about Husker baseball. I know anything in the hopper. Well, the next day, Alex Gordon gets, it's announced that he's going into the College Baseball Hall of Fame. Evan, I was 6-7 years old when Alex Gordon was growing up, and I think there are plenty of Husker fans who think of Alex Gordon more as a Royal, but remind people just how good Alex Gordon was in college at Nebraska.
Yeah, he was great. I mean, he was actually a couple years ahead of me at Lincoln Southeast, and so he had some ridiculous numbers in high school. Was highly sought after as a recruit, and then goes to Nebraska and ends up being one of the best college hitters of all time. I mean, in his last year wins the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy for baseball with the Golden Spike Award, and played a stellar third base and was the face of some of Nebraska's best baseball teams ever. So I think it was the numbers, it was the success the team had, but it was also just the fire and the grit that he had when he was out there, and it really epitomized everything about college baseball. And it's kind of funny, like I'll remember too when he came back to be honored and have his number retired at Haymarket this past spring, and he went out and gave a speech to the team beforehand, and it fired him up, and the guys were like, yeah, this guy, even in retirement, like he just had that it factor to inspire and to lead and all the rest. So a special guy, contributed of course to the Alex Gordon complex that's out there at Haymarket now, their indoor facility. And you can't talk about Nebraska baseball without mentioning Alex Gordon in your first breath.
And he's probably the headliner of this College Baseball Hall of Fame class. I mean, Ron Darling, we know from his time, the broadcast booth more. Russell Martin, but not that one. Mike Matheny, but not that one. But then I think the biggest coach is Pat Casey of Oregon State, who did retire back in 2018. But Evan, what do you think is going to happen with that baseball program now that it's out in the wilderness, not in the Pac-12?
That's a great question. I mean, that was a team. I mean, you mentioned Pat Casey, like he kind of gave hope in a lot of ways to quote unquote northern teams that they could have sustained success and make runs to the College World Series and all the rest. And so, what they do moving forward will be really interesting. I don't know. I mean, do you schedule a Mountain West sort of schedule? Do you just sort of take it into sort of a bunch of non-conference games and cobble something together? I mean, it's going to be a lot different next year, I think, with Oregon State, but a lot of other teams too. I mean, if you're Stanford, for example, you're not going to be playing a Pac-12 schedule a year from now. You're going to be playing the ACC and whatever else. If you're UCLA, you're going to be in the Big Ten. You're going to be in Michigan State or Penn State in March. Have fun with that. So I think a lot of those West Coast programs that have been really good are in for a big time adjustment period with travel and who they play and all the rest. I think in college baseball, though, it's all about the RPI. It's about scheduling teams, that have winning records, maybe even in smaller conferences. So there's still a lot of quality schools out there, in some of the other smaller leagues that are going to make the postseason. So I don't know if you cobble some of that together or how that'll look, but they still have the talent, and you would think they'll still find a way to be factors in the postseason.
One other baseball question before we jump into the football realm. Do you think we see UCLA and USC, maybe those are the two, big baseball schools coming to the Big Ten there. Do you think we see them schedule more aggressively in their non-con by going on the road to some more SEC, ACC, even like Cal State Fullerton type of teams? Do they invite more teams with, name brands out to them early in the season to try to boost that RPI? Because going to the Big Ten is a slide in the RPI for those two schools that have not just postseason, but College World Series level expectations.
Right. And I'm in the camp that would say that those schools, it'll be less about those schools raising the tide for the Big Ten. And I think it'll be more about them kind of coming down to that level. I think it's going to be harder to recruit players when your pitch is going to be, you're going to be traveling a bunch to the central and eastern time zones. Like you said, once you get into the Big Ten, history has shown that your RPI is kind of set because you just don't have a lot of opportunity to make up ground once you get to that point. So yeah, I think their situation would be not all that dissimilar to what Nebraska's is, which is you need to find that happy medium in February and March where you're challenging your team and you're building your resume, but at the same time, you're not, going too far with it to where, you can't make it up on the back end. So I think they've had the luxury for a long time of being able to schedule what they want. Maybe you have a premier weekend series, and then you play some smaller schools to find your footing, and then you get into the Pac-12 and you have a bunch of opportunities as your season goes along to improve your resume. I think they are going to probably have to take a few more risks and maybe step out of their comfort zone a little more than they have, just because of what that Big Ten slate is going to provide.
We're talking with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. He's with us on our Allo VIP line. All right, Evan, let's turn the conversation to football. I'm sure you're, refreshing Twitter just as much as the rest of us, if not working your sources. But let's play out the Kyle McCord hypothetical here. He's been linked to Nebraska. We've heard there's a good chance of that happening. He's the best pure passer at Nebraska since who?
Well, Zach Taylor, Joe Gans, maybe, just in terms of their ability to read the field and their accuracy level. I know Adrian Martinez in 2020 had an accuracy or a completion percentage that was higher than what McCord's was at 65 point whatever this year. But that was with a lot of shorter stuff too, I think. So, I think back to Nebraska's history with quarterbacks, especially in this century. And it's, for the most part, it's been dual threat guys, right? Mm-hmm. It's been Adrian Martinez and Taylor Martinez and Tommy Armstrong and Eric Crouch and the rest. Like, the exceptions have been the guys who would hang in the pocket and would maybe call themselves passers first. And so I would think of Zach Taylor, who was not all that mobile. Joe Gans was more mobile, but I do think, he wanted to stay in the pocket and operate as a passer. Tanner Lee in 2017 sort of was in that mold, but I think McCord has more ability in that sense. So it's a pretty short list. Zach Lee, I suppose you could say as well. About 12 years ago, it would fit in that mold. But, McCord is different, and he was different when you think about the players that Nebraska was linked to in the portal this past week. He's the exception in terms of a guy who would stay in the pocket. And so it's been interesting getting to learn a little bit about McCord. I know Ohio State fans at times were frustrated with him, which is kind of funny to think about when you think about, they won their first 11 games and were a top 5 team a lot of the season. But I think what they were maybe more frustrated with than anything was, one, losing to Michigan, and two, just the fact that maybe he wasn't quite the dynamic downfield passer like CJ Stroud was, or Justin Fields was, or Dwayne Haskins was. So I think he's got some talent. I think in some ways it's the kind of quarterback that could really help Nebraska, because he kind of, allows the other guys to do their things. Like, if you're an offensive lineman, he's going to stay in the pocket. If you're a running back, you're going to get more carries. If you're a wide receiver, that he wants to pass, and he's probably going to find you. So it's definitely a different kind of skill set than what Nebraska's had, but it might be just what they're looking for.
That I would have to agree with you, Evan. I want to add on to that question, because one of the things that I could say that I've witnessed with Coach Rule is you got an idea of his approach. And Austin and I have looked at this approach, and we looked at the quarterback approach, and we both like the way that it's going. If they land it, it doesn't matter. We like the way and the direction that they're taking in it with what they're going for. Now, there's been great retention on this team as well, Evan. The line retention has been good to be able, one, to get Ben Scott back, then you get Ben Hart, and you've secured a couple of sides of it, but you still want to add to it. There's the add to. That's the word I'm going for. Evan, as you're now looking at the direction that this Nebraska coaching staff is trending and looking towards and trying to bring in, where do you think they go from here, and what side of the ball do you think they're looking heavy on to try to build up?
Well, they're in an interesting spot, Strick, because from a numbers perspective, you have to be really selective about who you can add at this point. And they're, right at 100 scholarships, give or take a player or two at this point. And that's where they were last year too, for what it's worth. And they have to get down to 85 by August. And so you're going to see some attrition, if not now, then during or after spring, when depth charts are a little bit more defined. But, Matt Rule said it before, if there's an impact lineman in the portal or somebody that they can have a chance at, you take that guy and you figure it out. Obviously, aside from quarterback, which is what everyone's paying attention to, they do have a defensive back out of the portal coming to campus this week by the name of Bly Hill, who has been at an FCS school, St. Francis. So you can say that, defensive back, probably corner in particular, is a spot that they would like to add. Receiver, obviously, with Julian Fleming from Ohio State just wrapping up his visit. So if not him, you would think that's still a position group that could use somebody older and somebody as a veteran. And then I would add maybe middle linebacker as well, with Henrich and Reimer moving on, potentially John Bullock, depending on what he decides to do. That's a spot that next year you could envision, Mekhi Bayer being a starter, Javen Wright, but there's not a ton of proven depth behind those guys if you went that route. So I would say, other than quarterback, you've got receiver, linebacker, probably a defensive back that they'd like to add. But again, you can't get too gratuitous beyond that just because of the roster crunch that they're in right now.
Yeah.
Matt Rule has mentioned, to you guys in the Nebraska press corps on national shows, pretty much everywhere he's been, that he wants to have the bulk of his roster be guys he recruits and then amplify and augment with the transfer portal. He's learning it, having just jumped back into college sports. But Evan, he's pretty darn good at this transfer portal thing and building relationships quickly. Is that the next step for Matt Rule in, his time as Nebraska's head coach, is learning how to balance kind of his old school approach with the new age of college football?
Yeah, if he hasn't learned it already. I mean, he's a pretty quick study in that regard. And yeah, I think there's a lot been made about the fact that when he was in college football last at the end of the 2019 season at Baylor, the rules were quite a bit different with the portal and NIL and all that having not really come about at all. So I think he was a quick study on that last year. I think he, learned a few things going through the portal last off season when Nebraska added, I think it was 12 players out of the portal, 11 around this time last December. So I think he's figured that out, but I think you also kind of figure out that oftentimes guys are in the portal for a reason, whether that's because of ability or attitude or whatever. And everyone's situation is different, but I think he's maybe been convinced that, the path to sustained success is still going to be identifying high school talent, bringing them in, developing them in your program so that in 2 or 3 years, they come out and they can be contributors, what they have. And I think too, one of the things that my sense is that'll be a strength for Nebraska will be player retention in the transfer portal era. I think players like to be in Lincoln. I think they like to be known by their coaches. They like to be invested in. I think just their approach at Nebraska is different from a lot of places. And I think you've seen that reflected in the fact that amid all this frenzy of roster turnover around the sport, Nebraska's only lost 3 scholarship players to the portal to this point. You've had multiple guys like Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmaker, Ben Scott, Bryce Benhart, Isaac Gifford all decide to come back when they didn't have to. And I think that's all a sign that you build a core, you set a culture, you build a core of talent around that, and then you supplement year to year as you need.
Evan, we'll finish with this. I'm sure you've seen plenty of this, in responses on Twitter or comments on your articles on omaha.com. But something we've gotten a lot the last few days is, okay, Lucy, hold the football down. I'm not coming this time. I'm Charlie Brown. I'm not kicking it. Husker fans, I think, are just cautious and still kind of maybe jaded is the word I've been going back to. This offseason is just going to be like the rest. That, oh, yeah, there's all this hype. There's all this flash. But where's the substance, right? And we can all say it's time for Nebraska to finally deliver on the field. But in your opinion, say Nebraska lands McCord and Raiola and Fleming, is it just the same old offseason champs, or is this a different sort of vibe to, a good offseason?
Oh, I think it's different. And part of the reason I think it's different is because these are the sorts of moves that you're seeing making national headlines. Like, this is not a year ago when Nebraska is one of dozens of schools, making sort of relatively minor portal additions and things. This is, you're talking about a 5-star quarterback in Raiola who's been committed to the 2-time defending national champs for 7 months, making an 11th hour change of heart. Like, if that happens, that's major news. You're talking about another former 5-star in Kyle McCord, who just led Ohio State to the brink of a Big Ten title and a college football playoff spot, potentially coming to Nebraska. And again, it's Nebraska that is a blue blood in a historical sense, but it's also a Nebraska team that's had 7 straight losing seasons. And so just the fact that these sorts of players would come to the Huskers, given that lack of recent track record, is notable. And it's the sort of thing that can, jumpstart a turnaround, that can generate momentum, certainly within a fan base. I think of the Michael Scott meme of I'm ready to be hurt again. Like, I feel like that's sort of the vibe I've gotten from a lot of Husker fans. And so, yeah, this isn't sort of, subjective hype. Like, these are objectively proven players, whether at the college level or certainly at the high school level with Raiola, who are coming in potentially if things play out that way. And yeah, I think there's every reason to be excited about what's going to happen, because you look at the schedule in the Big Ten next year and what it's going to be as an 18-team league. The level of play is going to elevate, and the standard is higher. And I think it's maybe that's the most encouraging sign from what we've seen from Nebraska, is they recognize that you're going to have to take some big swings, and you might not hit all the time, but if you can connect the way it looks like they're set to connect with some of these players right now, that's the sort of thing that can elevate a program to that next level.
Just don't declare bankruptcy in NIL and they should be fine, right?
That's right. The pledge drive is continuing from the collective perspective. And, again, like the thing about Nebraska fans is that's been the differentiator in this program for a long time. So we'll see how that translates as NIL continues to take hold.
It's Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald with us. Check him out on Twitter at Evan Bland, OWH. Find his work at omaha.com. Evan, as always, appreciate the time. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Evan joined us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Shirk, I want to kind of throw a change up into hour two. Is this offseason different? Can it be different? Can Husker fans, let go and be okay, with having some excitement and having some real expectations? Because real expectations might be coming.
Yeah. We can easily fall into the Debbie Downer mentality of how things have gone over the years and how we continuously get our hopes up, and what most would say drinking a lot of the Kool-Aid. But listen, again, this is different. When you're talking about the quarterback position, where the quarterback position, as we've all spoken, I can say from early break on to, DP and the crew, you know what I mean? Even with Amon and all of them, I'm sure they probably talked about it as well. Getting into that fact, Austin, that the quarterback position is one of the most important positions for the success of a program. That someone stable, someone that maybe doesn't have the deep pass abilities, but if you can land both of them, and even if you just land one of them, but you can land both of them and really be able to build off of that, you get both. I've seen tape on him, on young Raiola, and that young fella can throw a deep ball better than anybody in the country, just as good as anybody that could in the country with accuracy. So if you can get both of them, you got a guy who will give stability, will be able to make the throws in the mid range and can make all of those throws, will protect the ball. And then you get somebody with a deep arm talent like Raiola, then you should have good hopes, because now you can start focusing on those skill position guys that can go and get it.
That's the next piece of this conversation. Where does Nebraska look next? You and I have had some of those preliminary discussions, but I think Nebraska's trying to get the bow on these quarterbacks, get them on campus, get them signed, sealed, delivered before they, move on from there. Let's talk about an NFL quarterback to end out hour two. Bryce Young.
Oh, my God.
Is he the guy? Nebraska might have its guys. Does Carolina have its? We'll talk about that to wrap up hour one. Get right back to the Husker conversations in hour two of On the Block.
Have yourself a classic little Christmas this year by giving Nebraska Lottery scratch and lotto tickets as gifts. They're fast, fun, easy, and make great stocking stuffers, party favors, and last-minute presents. Choose from our family of 4 holiday classic scratch tickets with top prizes of $2, $10, $20, and $50,000. And don't forget to pick up tickets for our always popular lotto games like Powerball, Mega Millions, Lucky for Life, Nebraska Pick 5, and more. They'll all make your holidays truly classic. Top prize odds vary by game.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that Potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, expecting partly sunny skies. Winds should be calm as well. We'll see a high of around 47. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies are expected. We'll see a low into 27. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies do return. Temperatures will be a little warmer. We'll see a high of around 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Are you searching for a helping hand in life? Look no further. Integrated Behavioral Health Services is your answer. They're your compassionate, trusted partners committed to guiding you from challenges to triumphs. Their licensed professionals offer personalized therapy for individuals, couples, and families. At IBHS, the focus is you. Experience a life-changing transformation in an environment tailored to your unique needs. Visit ibhealthservices.com today and take that first step towards a brighter future. Discover the power of healing with Integrated Behavioral Health Services. You're not alone. Let them walk this journey with you.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in Lincoln. From broken bones to complex reconstruction, our skilled team will help you get back on track. Visit prairieortho.com today and discover why we're the trusted choice for thousands of patients. Don't let pain hold you back. Take the first step towards a better pain-free life with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Call 402-489-4700.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive. Always honest answers.
WWE Friday Night SmackDown returns to Lincoln, January 12th, 6:45 p.m. Pinnacle Bank Arena.
Let's throw down right now.
See Rey Mysterio, LA Knight, Bobby Lashley, The Street Profits, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Carlito, and more. It's WWE's Friday Night SmackDown in Lincoln, January 12th. Tickets start at $25 and on sale now. Ticketmaster.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
Old School with DP and J.
We got a special guest in. We got Jason Peters.
All that's being asked of you is everything. Like, you have to give everything that you have to that program, to that team. If you want to be a champion, that's the only way, right? I mean, you have to commit to to every lifting session, every strength and conditioning session, during the summer, during the spring, whatever it may be. It just has to be 100% commitment by everybody.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, well, my co-host disappeared. He's getting a cup of coffee at the mill. Make sure you do that here, 1040 O Street, northwest corner of 11th and O. Oh, here he comes. He's on his way back. He knows the segment's starting. He's got his cup of Joe. Stricky will be in here in just a sec. Text line, we see you. Danny on the YouTube stream, we see you. Thank you all for tuning in, for jumping in here. 7563, we will get to that here at hour number 2. We see as Stricky parades his milk coffee around. Stricky, what's the order?
I had to meal it up, bro.
You did.
I had to do it, man. And I needed a cup of Joe. And the meal is one of the best places. Yeah, come down, man. 11th and O, man. 1040 O Street.
What's your go-to? What's your order?
White mocha. I'm bougie.
Smooth. So you like white coffee, but not white wine.
What? Right.
What's up with that?
What? No, I like a mocha latte too.
Okay.
But white mocha with oat milk and extra shot of espresso, just to give a little bit of pop on it. The meal, they do it right for me.
So my wife has gone dairy-free and soy-free to help little Herbie out.
Yeah.
And she did the almond milk thing for a couple gallons. Now she's trying oat milk. Stricky, she's not an oat milk person. She prefers the almonds.
She prefers the almonds?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of go to the oat because I think it gives me maybe a little bit more of a proteinish flow to it.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've been working out, trying to get this body right, man. I crossed over 50 now, so I'm on the back half of my life.
We'll see about that.
Grateful that I made it. I'm grateful that I made it. But are we talking Bellevue West?
We will next segment.
Oh.
We'll bring Bell West in.
We'll bring Bell West.
Yeah.
But
your boys
brought the meal in.
Your boys
my
at
boys.
Bell West.
My boys.
Yep.
I need to go watch a basketball game. Might sneak over there this weekend if they got one at home.
Ooh, Eisenboji. Stay tuned for Stricky there. We'll talk Bryce Young at some point, but it's a huge weekend coming up for Nebraska athletics. We will get into volleyball. We will get into what could be on the horizon, what seems like it's on the horizon for football, and men's basketball. We'll definitely get into more of that game, that matchup with Kansas State later in the week. But Bellevue West, Daniel Kalen visiting Michigan State. That is official. Does he bring his 2 pals with him? Does anyone else from this Nebraska class go with Daniel Kalen? Pete Nakos didn't think there were any surprises in store. Do we agree? What's the vibe? How tight do those Thunderbirds flock together? We'll ask one himself. Erick Strickland will give us that answer and plenty more when we get back to hour 2 of On the Block.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top shelf liquor to crowd favorite beer, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. We'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is offering some huge holiday discounts from now until January 2nd. On select new Chevrolet vehicles, we are offering $8,000 off MSRP or 1.9% financing. Yes, you heard right. That's $8,000 off or 1.9% financing on select new Chevrolets. We also have some huge discounts on our new GMC inventory, so stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com. Includes finance, trade, and Costco bonus with roof credit. Stock number C299464. Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Let's get it. Hour 2 on a Wednesday. That means we are officially halfway through the week. 5 hours of On the Block down, 5 hours to go. Don't worry, we're not with you for 5 hours the rest of the day. I don't know if we can pull that off. We might be able to stick through it, but...
I mean, with all the news that's coming out, it's possible with all the craziness going on right now in the transfer portal. It's possible.
Yeah, let's start with that news here in just a sec. I like to take my news with a good heaping portion of Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. If it's good news, it amplifies it. If it's bad news, I feel less bad.
Yeah.
Got meeting away with Mary Ellen's 29th and Pine Lake. They're open through the weekend. Your Belt West people here, Stricky. Daniel Kalen, quarterback commit for Nebraska in the 2024 class, has not decommitted from Nebraska, but is reportedly visiting Michigan State. Notable because Dylan Raiola visiting Nebraska this weekend. So the in-state prospect will ship up to Michigan, while the legacy prospect is reported to be in Lincoln this weekend. But the biggest piece with Daniel Kalen is his connection in getting Davon Hall, Isaiah McMorris to commit to Nebraska. Davon Hall wasn't really giving Nebraska a shot. McMorris was, had Nebraska among his options. Kalen gets them both to come to Nebraska. Instrumental in Carter Nelson, a great peer recruiter on campus and also on Twitter, has facilitated, a lot of that interaction among this 2024 signing class. And all of a sudden, he's taking a trip up to East Lansing after all of a sudden, Nebraska is back in the sweepstakes for Dylan Raiola. It's been a whirlwind. It's a lot to wrap your head around. What are your thoughts on just the Daniel Kalen element of this Nebraska quarterback saga, such as it is?
I mean, listen, you feel bad about it, but I do think that Daniel Kalen is probably a little bit of time away. But I can understand the desire to want to move into a potential opportunity to find himself in an early role backup position. I don't think anybody was looking at Daniel Kalen to be able to come in here and be an immediate starter. But he does have talent. He has a good arm talent. I think there's some parts of him that I would like to see a little bit more just doggish as far as, but Daniel Kalen, for the most part, is a pocket passer with some abilities to move if he has to. But I don't, he's not a Blazer or anybody like that. But I love the direction that they're possibly going. I love the direction of getting a stable pocket passer, because it forces your offensive linemen to become better. Without worry of where they're shifting to, where they're moving to. Now, I will say that I think one of the faults of our quarterback room was being in the shotgun, still dropping back 3 yards after you're catching the ball in a shotgun. That puts a lot of strain on edge rushing, because if you're your edge rushers, if you don't have a step up ability, not a step up and run ability, I'm talking about a step up, create more time, and still have your eyes downfield, aware of what the defense is doing, whether it's in man, knowing if it's in man and they're coming with an extra blitz package that you were able to pick up. You create that space, evade it, and now you're looking at crossing routes. Now, I will give credit that it's not always the fault of the quarterback, because I've watched the wide receivers literally run routes and stand still, stuck, like not knowing what to do. Like, you always want to be looking for an opportunity to shift, move, bend it up, bend it back, go on a straight line, coming back to the ball, something. But just the standing there and just like you're having a salsa competition with a defender, that's no bueno. So that's the way I look at it. I think there's still some things that having a pocket passer with presence and the ability to process and know what the defense is trying to do against you and be able to make those throws is going to be an imperative thing for this year.
I think that's a great point too, because some of it's on the quarterbacks for not stepping up into a pocket that's created when it's created. Some of it's on the quarterbacks for giving edge rushers angles, right? The deeper you get, the easier it is for an edge rusher to beat an offensive lineman. It's on the offensive line for sometimes not creating that pocket, that bubble for quarterback to step up into. Sometimes it's on the receivers. Either they're not open or they're just playing footsie, salsa dancing with the defender, like you just said. Everyone's to blame. Nebraska needs to upgrade at all those positions. But I think that if Nebraska can get a guy like Kyle McCord in the system, Dylan Raiola, who I think is good enough in the pocket, obviously has to learn as a young guy, but to step up, keep your eyes downfield, keep the ball high, not drop it, not tuck it, keep it safe. Obviously, we saw Nebraska struggle with that in the quarterback position, but simplifying the offensive line's jobs, simplifying the receivers' jobs might just help them play faster, freer, quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that you definitely heard from Evan Bland was having someone like Kyle McCord, it puts an onus or responsibility on all pieces. You just stated one of them, which is the line, which we both spoke about. But the running backs got to do a job too.
Yep.
It's going to make it good for all of them. It's going to provide, like, if I was a receiver on the fringe, and here's why I would say Holden McMorris probably wouldn't want to go anywhere. One, there's not an established one. Understand what I'm saying, listeners. There's not an established number one receiver at Nebraska. There's potential, there's flashes, and there's guys that have looked okay, and there's guys that can go deep, but there's not one that you're saying, if it's 3rd down and 8, I'm looking his way first. You know what I'm saying?
Either because I know he's going to be open, or I know he's going to give me a shot at 50-50 ball.
Exactly. I know he's going to potentially catch this ball, and I can trust him, right? There's not one of those. So if you're a young receiver with no one's established, because outside of maybe Malachi, which I still think needs to get better, but I like his size. You know what I mean? There's certain things about Malachi that I like. If I can see progression out of Malachi, then I would feel better at him as a 2-3 guy, right?
Right.
But outside of him, I know that Lloyd can bust it open, but I still don't know.
Is he a 1? No.
No.
Is he Trey Palmer?
No, I don't think so. So there's so much uncertainty there. But if I'm a fringe receiver that was looking at an opportunity with nothing that I'm really overly worried about in front of me, I look at Nebraska. If you can land those one of those two guys, I'm taking a different look at Nebraska as a receiver, because what Nebraska was doing is not going to happen going forward with that type of arm talent.
It can't be allowed to happen again, and it doesn't look likely to happen again, given the resources Nebraska's putting into the quarterback and the wide receiver positions. And that's where I think ideally the ideal setup for Nebraska at quarterback would be to get all three guys, to have McCord come in and start, to have Raiola and Kalen, kind of push each other for that backup role. Likely shakes out McCord, Raiola, Kalen. But then if Dylan Raiola is good enough, he's gone after 3 years, right? So Daniel Kalen probably has 2 years that he can be the starter, an experienced guy who's learned his lessons, who's waited for his shot,
got stronger,
got smarter, knows the Big Ten, has adapted, adjusted, has the guys he's familiar with still on campus in those teammates, hopefully. But the likely option is that Nebraska loses Daniel Kalen, which is unfortunate for Nebraska because I think you lose some of that big picture vision at quarterback to some degree. Unfortunate for, Hall and McMorris losing their high school teammate who it seems like they really wanted to play with. Unfortunate for Daniel Kalen because it's this late in the cycle, Strick. He's taking a visit to Michigan State. I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up there. Kind of a miracle he's getting an official visit in at all. He's a good prospect, not an elite one. It's kind of a minor miracle he's able to find a home with a week to go before signing day.
I'm actually surprised. I didn't think it would be definitely I didn't think it'd be Big Ten, but I mean, again, it's not set in stone, but I would be monitoring it closely. to see kind of what happens there. And I'm rooting for him. Don't get me wrong. I'm rooting for him.
Big time.
I still would still like to see more. And I think the intangibles just aren't there. I think he's still a young talent that has to grow and get better. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. And we're about to see just how much Daniel Kalen means to those two receivers too. You can want to play with a guy, it can be, front of your mind at one point, but as soon as you go from high school to college, Strick, isn't that where you kind of have to take your career into your own hands? If you have any aspirations of playing at any next level, isn't high school to college where you have to say, man, I love you. We had some good times in high school, did some cool stuff. If it works out down the road, great. But right now, this is best for me. Wish the best for you.
They're fortunate because they're in a space where there's a lot of open grass and opportunity.
Fields to frolic in.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of open grass and opportunity for that receiver room. And if you come in, show and prove, Rule has showed he's willing to play young. He don't care. He wants production. You know what I mean? Come in and produce. Prove yourself worthy. If you do that, then you're going to get on that field, and that's what's beautiful. Now I understand that both of those guys can run. McMorris and both Hall, they both can run. But again, you're looking at top level talent. Now McMorris to me reminds me a lot of Kemp. With size, stature, shiftiness,
a little shiftier, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Hall I think would remind me more of Betts. If Betts was still around, he kind of reminds me of that.
Straight line speed.
Yeah. Betts is kind of like that, but Hall I think has potential though. I think his work ethic and I think his cerebral abilities are a little bit more there.
And I don't think either of those guys is your number one right away.
No.
I mean, if they are, they've taken a huge step or they're elevated by their quarterback. Oprah Windfury says Coleman has to become that guy. Maybe in 2 years, but not next year. I don't think Malachi's a number one next year. Brad says Marcus Washington, who got injured against Illinois, needs a waiver to come back. I still just don't think he's a one. I think he's a two.
Marcus is Washington is a possession guy. You know what I mean? Marcus is a guy that if you do need a catch, he can go get it. Like he's a guy that is a curl, dig. And if you're running a post corner or you're running a corner route with an out route, he's the out route. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna blow you out. I think he can create a little space, but he's got good hands that he can extend and make catches when you need it.
He feels like a guy that has the potential to put up number one numbers, but I don't feel number one impact necessarily.
No.
Not game changing field tilted gravity.
There you go. Good point.
So you prefer having him to not having him. You hope Coleman can be that guy. And that's where I think a guy like Julian Fleming is interesting. I mean, number one receiver in the nation, number 3 overall player back in the class of 2020, wasn't a number 1 at Ohio State, but could Julian Fleming be a Stanley Morgan? Could he be a Kenny Bell? I think his game is a little bit of a mix of those. I think he's a little faster than Stanley, maybe a little thicker and stronger than Kenny Bell was. But Nebraska needs to go get a guy. A better quarterback should elevate a guy into a role and playing better there. But Nebraska needs help at wide receiver. I don't think it can stop with Julian Fleming. I don't think he takes enough pressure off of, Coleman and Lloyd and, Hall and McMorris and whoever else you want to throw in that conversation on his own. I don't hate Nebraska going after a second, wide receiver or, find a tight end, to take some pressure off of Fedoni, if he's, sticking around, or just as a second guy to have on the roster. I think Nebraska needs more.
I'm being real about this. I would love to see Heinrich Harburg at a hybrid tight end position.
Sure.
I really would.
Why not?
I'm just throwing it out there. Not saying that that's going to happen. Sometimes, like for example, I think Scott Frost did himself a disservice. I personally just don't think he wanted to play. He just didn't have that go-get to want to stick it out and play. But I think Scott Frost could have been a really good, type of H-back or hybrid tight end similar to that. Or I thought he should have stuck it out on the defensive side, but if you don't have that dog in you and you don't want to hit, you don't want to be on that defensive side.
Scott Frost might be back in the Big Ten soon. I'm going to leave that there until I get more confirmation, but things are percolating. We'll see what it looks like if it happens and if it doesn't happen. But let's go to the YouTube stream. And Scott says, every time I think we need a running quarterback, I go back to the Purdue game. Harburg takes off around the edge, gets destroyed by the Purdue defensive end. Can't take hits like that every game. That's fair, right? You need the right type of running quarterback, either a Lamar Jackson, who is so incredibly shifty, he doesn't take hits, or you need a bruiser that's going to run people over, that's, big enough, bulky enough to absorb the hits over the course of the season.
That's Josh Allen.
A Cam Newton, even Tim Tebow type of guy. And those are few and far between.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks are going to get hit in the pocket, but the big hits are penalized in this day and age of college football, like it or not. They just are. And it's harder to get that clean shot. For all the big hits we see in the pocket, those miscommunications, even with, so offensive lines,
they're very rare.
Still pretty, few and far between. And I think McCord is veteran enough to know how to absorb some of those hits. If, again, he does end up announcing he's coming to Nebraska, a guy like McCord is, smart enough, savvy enough to know how to step up into the pocket, get his arm angle good enough, and still absorb the hit without taking the full brunt of it.
You want to get, you want to secure like a McCord and get him in here and having conversations with Ben Scott soon.
Yes.
Because you want that relationship to be very symbiotic, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want them to be able to be reading each other's mind as far as what he sees to what he sees online to what he sees with calling out mics and which potential guy to keep an eye on as far as potential blitz guys and be able to shift line line blocking schemes for pass blocks. You want to be able to know, you want to have that symbiotic rate because you don't want misses. Like
you can't afford
you
misses.
Don't want guys just coming clean. Not Nebraska. You want to be able to make sure you have time to release that ball. Don't be surprised if it looks very West Coast-ish, West Coast style. Getting the ball out quickly, reading quickly. Probably won't see with a guy like him, won't see as many RPOs. You'll see some, but not for him to run, but for him to, just kind of hold the linebackers a little bit. But just because of his style, you'll probably see more of a West Coast style of offense.
And Nebraska hasn't done a lot of that, right? We see teams, like Minnesota, right? That last drive of the game, dice Nebraska up with a quick passing game, take 6 yards at a time, get to the sideline. Wisconsin and Will Pauling on third down, balls out pretty quick, pretty consistently. And Nebraska's defensive backs have played so far off receivers for so long. Like, Strick, how can other teams take advantage of that, but not Nebraska?
Yeah, I have no clue. I also would like to see a little bit more creativity and some misdirection action. I would like to see, and look, so, they I know they ain't listening to me to figure out what they're going to do,
Maybe
but I'm just
be.
saying, some misdirection action and definitely some more motion actions. Not motion actions for jets and just to, run a guy across the box and run him into the flat. No, I'm talking about find out what's going on, see where we're at with man. And if you need to run him back, run him back. You know what I mean? I mean, just some different types of motion actions to shift defenses, even if it's tight ends shifting and move. I want to see more shifting just to change what the defense is able to scheme and see and react to.
We had Teach Tape Tuesday yesterday. It's every Tuesday at 2:30. It's been basketball so far, but we're still in the middle of the NFL season. So, Stricky, if you find NFL teams using motion and want to talk people through how they use it, what the cues are, what the keys are, I don't think Nebraska fans have got a lot of that. And I think that's helpful for young quarterbacks, right? To have that motion to show, hey, this is a man tell. This is a zone tell. Do they creep up? Do they back off? Do they pass it off? What are they saying on the other side of the line of scrimmage? Just those little cues can make a quarterback's life so much easier in those, 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, and it's an understanding that they may shift that. This is why I think maturity at the quarterback position is so needed because, guys can initially show you a man or a zone and shift it to a zone blitz or shift it to a corner blitz or something of that nature. They can shift it, But a mature quarterback would be able to say, okay, this is what it looks like, but I'm still aware of this guy right here in the slot.
It's maturity.
I'm still aware of
It's
this guy
classroom.
coming down. So I'm seeing the safety kind of shift over a little bit. I'm seeing him come down into the zone. He maybe is overlaying my tight end here for a man with maybe this linebacker blitzing. Like that's the type of processing that I didn't see with Sims. I'm looking at Sims like,
or Harburg or Purdy.
I'm looking at Sims like he's in, he was in oblivion, like trying to figure, like, you know what I'm saying? But I want a quarterback to be able to look at that stuff and say, okay, yeah, okay, you maybe. And then if it happens, I know that this drag or this slant right here is going to be open because that safety's too deep to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like to process that in that quick of a time so that ball's away and there's no worry about fumbles and guys like that, right? The only other thing I got to worry about is what if the end drops out or the linebacker comes over and I put my guy in jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? So I want those type of processes and thoughts.
It's maturity, it's experience, it's homework, it's film work.
Homework and film work.
Right. And I think all those things go absolutely hand in hand. Good stuff here in this segment. We got to take a break. We're up against it here. Huge weekend coming up for the Huskers. What better time to talk about it than midweek? We're on the downhill slide toward the weekend. Let's set it up. We got volleyball. We got football on the horizon. We got basketball. A lot going on in Husker land. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down, give you our thoughts on it next.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings. Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. There are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at BeatriceBakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness. And now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is Nebraska's premier NIL company. And with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The winter forecast for today, expecting partly sunny skies. Wind should be calm as well. We'll see a high of around 47. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies are expected. We'll see a low near 27. And tomorrow, partly sunny skies do return. Temperatures will be a little warmer. We'll see a high of around 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. We like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is offering some huge holiday discounts from now until January 2nd. On select new Chevrolet vehicles, we are offering $8,000 off MSRP or 1.9% financing. Yes, you heard right. That's $8,000 off or 1.9% financing on select new Chevrolets. We also have some huge discounts on our new GMC inventory, so stop on in or check us out online at koppelcars.com. Includes finance, trade, and Costco bonus with roof credit. Stock number C2999464.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
It's that poise, that resiliency that stopped Michigan State runs and got Nebraska started on a few. There were a couple moments, especially early, and then after that Walker run, you're like, okay, we've seen this story before for Nebraska. They'll fight, and then they'll fall apart. This is where it all comes unraveled. It didn't tonight, and that's a huge improvement from Creighton and from Minnesota.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're rolling right along through hour 2 on a Wednesday. Once again, big thanks to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul for sponsoring our show. You see the scroll below us there, how to follow us on social media and where to find Mary Ellen's. They're open today through the weekend. Stricky, I mentioned the weekend because it is shaping up to potentially be an all-time Nebraska athletics weekend.
Wow.
It could be insane. Let's just think through this. So tomorrow, you got Nebraska volleyball versus Pitt in the Final Four. Nebraska, I don't know if they're odds for volleyball or whatnot, I think would be the favorite in this tournament, right? Only one loss all year. It's to your biggest rival on the road, in kind of a get-back game after you beat them earlier. You roll through the NCAA tournament. You've only dropped, one set?
One set, which was the last one, right?
So Nebraska's playing well. Nebraska's talented. And yet I've seen some stat websites have Pitt favored over Nebraska, which is kind of funny. Should Nebraska win, then on Sunday they'll get either Texas or Wisconsin, the nemesises, the arch rivals that I think have a narrative edge over Nebraska. So first of all, if it's true that Pitt is, favored by the numbers over Nebraska, we have seen the story before with Nick Saban and with Kirby Smart and with insert great coach, great team, great dynasty here. You give a great coach like that the underdog card, watch yourself.
Well, see, here's the dynamic that you have, right? So for the third season, Pitt volleyball is going to compete for a natty. Last year they upset, I think it was Wisconsin. Last year, if I remember, no, did Wisconsin win it last year? I think Wisconsin. It was they upset somebody last year in order to make their way in. My mind just drew a blank. But nonetheless, here's the deal. They're new blood. They're basically like when we talk about the SEC or the ACC, teams that are emerging out of basketball or out of football or whatever the case may be. There's blue blood and there's new blood, and they're considered to be a new blood type of team. Some dynamics there. They, they're strong in their hitting. They're number 2 behind Nebraska in their defense. So this is going to be a nice matchup, right? What I'm interested in seeing is just this young Nebraska team who has fought through, gotten through a lot of adversity as far as, just being young, right? I really do believe that what transpired at Memorial Stadium was something that transformed this team into who they are. It just gave them an air of confidence that propelled them throughout this season. Whenever they got in trouble or whenever they're down in sets, there was a poise, there was a confidence, there was things that continue to show themselves, improve themselves. So it's a blue blood against a new blood, and who is going to make less mistakes? Who is going to be creative in their setting? Because you know who their guys are. You know who your girls. Your girls are. Beeson. Alec and the crew on the inside. They're blocking a lot. They had like 12 blocks, I think, in the game prior.
Becca had like 11 on her own.
You know what I'm saying? That, and Harper is swinging from the outside and from the back row. So who it is, but who's going to find creative ways? Who's going to scramble? Who's going to have the energy and the stamina to get through the emotions of what they're about to face, especially as a young team?
Text line is saying Texas won it last year. Well, they're back in the Final Four to defend their crown. Pitt beat Wisconsin.
I was right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
That's how it went down. Wisconsin, won not too long ago as well. So here's the thing, Straight. My affinity for Duke basketball is well noted, and we're not going to get into a Duke basketball rant here, but there was a moment that lives in Duke fans' heads that Duke was an underdog on the road. I don't know if it was at Virginia or North Carolina or somewhere, but Quinn Cook, in part of his pregame speech, said Duke is never the underdog. I think that about Nebraska volleyball, right? They're maybe a stat underdog to Pitt, and maybe Nebraska would be, the logical favorite going into a national title match should they get there on Sunday. But to me, Nebraska would feel like the underdog. As young as they are, the fact that this group can all come back next year, make room for 2 players in the recruiting class. But this group, this core, can be together. It feels like next year's their year, not this year. We know the psyche hold that Texas has over Nebraska in a lot of sports, just athletic departments in general. They've had some great volleyball matches. Nebraska's beat Texas. Texas has beat Nebraska.
We beat Texas when I had to get on JO about that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean Jermaine O'Neal.
Oh, yeah.
My former team. Because
we
we did beat them when, his daughter, I think, was a sophomore.
That's right.
Yeah. So I had to tell him about him. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So there's that. And then there's Wisconsin.
I want that matchup.
Yes. Nebraska, Texas is fun. Sign me up for it, because Wisconsin's kind of been the boogeyman for Nebraska, right? So yes, Nebraska has lost fewer games than any team in college volleyball. They have the greatest coach in the history of the sport. To me, Nebraska would still feel like the underdog in those matchups, but you're Nebraska volleyball. You are never, ever the underdog.
That's a fact. Everybody is chasing you. Everybody is hunting you. You are the hunted. Every time you show up, there's so much hatred and animosity for Nebraska volleyball, just for what they did alone. So everybody wants to beat you. Everybody wants to destroy you.
Yeah.
They know you have the biggest facility in volleyball. as far as where you play your regular games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
biggest, loudest.
Yeah, they know that. And in some of their minds, they low key wish they could have come. But now if I can't come, like for me, like that'd be an example for me, like I always wanted to bust Kansas's
head open to the white meat, as
Yeah.
Jay Foreman would say.
Yeah. Beep. Because Mark Turgeon, you're familiar with that
I
name.
know that name.
Mark Turgeon was recruiting me, and then all of a sudden they got off. And look, I love Nebraska. I probably would have still came to Nebraska. You know what I mean? But that salt in the wound of knowing that this guy Rex Walters was the one that kind of eliminated that opportunity.
They thought he was better than you. They thought.
I wanted to bust every time I saw him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And you did.
And I created this mental space. It was the same thing with Missouri, like Melvin Booker. Just kept hearing this guy's name.
Devin's better.
I want you know, it's like I want him. You know what I mean? And then this freshman comes in, Chauncey Billups in Colorado. Ooh. It's like this is all they're talking about. I want him. I want them to know Donnie Boy. Every time I heard, that's the way a lot of those young women feel when it comes to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I want to destroy them. Yeah.
60-90. I just saw a tweet. I think it was Evolve Stats with a couple L's on Twitter. Say that Pitt was a slight, like it's basically a coin flip matchup, right? But maybe a slight edge to Pitt, who has the number 2 defense and maybe a slightly better offense. I forget the exact tweet. I'll have to find it. But
coffee spill.
Oh boy, you're good. Take care of yourself. So it's going to be a close matchup. It's probably not going to be one that Nebraska rolls in. I expect adversity for the ladies in that one.
Yeah.
But again, Nebraska's never the underdog. You expect Nebraska to pull through to find a way to win. So that's Thursday, Nebraska Pitt. Make sure you're following Rico on Twitter at Radio Rico AC. He's down there or is getting down there. He'll be down there for the game tomorrow. You better be locked in, Husker Nation. Straight up. Okay, so that's just Thursday. Friday, Saturday. We're still waiting on quarterback news, Stricky. It could be any day. If it happens on a Friday news dump, maybe, or, it leads the cycle on Saturday with no real college football going on, a quiet day in the NFL, obviously on Saturday. Interesting college basketball day on Saturday, but that's for later. But you expect quarterback news by the weekend, which is hopefully on the heels of a Final Four win. Then you get to Sunday. Nebraska goes down to Manhattan, down to the Little Apple. I'll be there for that one. We'll talk more about it later in the week. But imagine a volleyball Final Four win, 2 quarterback commits, maybe that wide receiver and Julian Fleming, a men's basketball win, all leading up to the chance to take down, if not your 2 biggest rivals in the sport of volleyball, 2 of your 3 or 4 biggest rivals. You get one of them in a national championship match.
Whew.
It's tricky. Whew. It's not all going Nebraska's way yet. If everything goes Nebraska's way, Lincoln will burn.
It'll
Lincoln
be
will
on
burn.
fire. It'd be a beautiful time to be in Lincoln. But here's the crazy thing: everybody will be on break.
That's just the thing.
that's just part of the deal. But it could still be a fun time. That's for sure.
We are looking forward to it. We are rooting Husker volleyball on with all we've got tomorrow. We are waiting with bated breath for news on the quarterback position for Husker football. And then the Nebraska men, can they keep it going? You know, they got to follow up on Michigan State. They can't rest on it.
Yep.
Should be a fun weekend. We'll talk through it more as we get going. But let's cross it over. Jay Foreman in the building. We saw him walk by a little bit before. We'll bring him in. We'll cross it over. Wrap up on the block after this.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Light Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals. And get your lift with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch Light, and Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting partly sunny skies. Wind should be calm as well. We'll see a high of around 47. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies are expected. We'll see a low near 27. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies do return. Temperatures will be a little warmer. We'll see a high of around 53. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here we go.
Ooh, no, that's Ronald Isley. Ronald Isley.
Your boy?
Yeah, he's all right. You like Ronald Isley, Strick?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. He's smooth off. He's like a gangster. Like he's a gangster lover.
Mr. Big.
Yeah. That took, you know what, Strick? That took him to. He was always obviously icon, but that took him back into the new age. Stratosphere with the videos and all that stuff, and then he got in. We won't even mention his name. With the 12 in the closet. Yeah. You remember? Yeah,
some wild boy.
Hey man,
that's true.
I remember when the first two came out on like BT.
There was like 30 of them.
Yeah, then I was like, okay, it's done after 6, and then. Somebody told me, it was like, oh, it's like chapter 18. This dude did a whole movie.
Yeah, it's like a whole segment. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, he can replay that up in prison.
Let's talk.
Zoinks. Welcome back, Strick. Strick, we back, baby. Yeah, we back.
We back?
Yeah, we back.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
As long as we back.
Let's talk some NFL. Stricky, we didn't get to this. We were going to today. Bryce Young. Rough year for him in Charlotte. Playing in, for Carolina and the Panthers there. Does he have it? Is he a bust? Is it too early to say? Is there still something in the Bryce Young tank? If there is it in Carolina?
Well, for me, one of the things you have to think about, right, is there's a lot of low points to consider with the Panthers. One, head coach Frank Reich gets fired before his first season was even done. The owner, Coach Tepper, then is criticized for having impulsive decisions. He's had a lot of different coaches. What is it like?
It's every year,
like dang near every year, right?
Essentially, the new age Al Davis,
right? Yeah. It's crazy. And then they trade up from 9. They give up the 9th overall pick, a late second round pick this year, which was 2023. They gave up a 2024 first round pick, a 2025 second round pick, along with DJ Moore, who is now having a great year. With Justin Fields. And then your 9th pick ends up being who is a front runner for NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jalen Clark. And this upcoming year is now approaching with quarterback prospects, because you still may land in this position to potentially have gotten Caleb Williams or Drake May. And you also passed on C.J. Stroud, who is having a stellar year. So right now it's looking just all bad. Now, my question, Jay, is what I was asking Austin yesterday was, is Bryce Young built like different? Is he dog? Is he one of those ones that take an assessment and say, you know what, whatever's going on this year, watch me work next year? Is he Jalen's Hurts? Like, remember when everybody was talking about Jalen, and then next thing you know, he comes back and pulls it off. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my question, that would be my question. You having some, connection to North Carolina, what you think and what's your thoughts on
I think from everybody that I know that coached him and knew him, dang, you see homeboy riding that wheelie down there?
I missed him.
You missed him. Yeah, he getting that 2-wheel motion going on. There he goes, buddy, right there. He's a smart one on the sidewalk. But everything I've heard, that he does have that dog in him, and that he has that work ethic. And, immediately I start to think about, I always try to, like when I'm talking to you, is compare him to try to find situations in the NBA that can kind of be, I call it transferable, right? Just kind of apples to apples. You know what I think about with Carolina and the way their franchise is right now is kind of like the 76ers did with Markelle Fultz, right? Now, granted, he had this shoulder injury, changed his shot. He just looked like a totally different player coming from Washington. Mm-hmm. But then he's found a home in Orlando, and now he's actually he's not thought of as a bust. He's at least last I checked, he's 12, 13, 14 points a game on a loaded squad. So what that let me know that there was still the things that got him drafted. Markelle Fultz, number 1, Bryce Young, number 1, is still there. Now, how can you change things immediately in Carolina? And you talk about Jalen Hurts. It's the same thing, right? Oddly enough, they're coming from Alabama, where when you get picked that high, you're not going to ready-made franchise. Now, Philly was a little different because they always had a great offensive line, so that helps out. They need to get the head coach right. They need to get the coordinators right, because a good coordinator will match the scheme and / system to Bryce Young. People always ask, like, the difference between, a scheme and a system, right? A scheme is something that if you're a scheme guy, you won't change. If you're a system guy, you have principles, and you just will try to adapt those principles based on the year, the personnel, so forth and so on.
I didn't know that. Wait, pause. Bring that back. Right. I want to hear that one more time.
Scheme guys are kind of like you're just stuck in your ways.
Okay.
Like I would say, like, you'll stomp your feet and you'll run your scheme, right? I always say, like, you'll go
down with the ship.
You'll go down with the ship. You'll keep running your stuff no matter what. You think you can go to Hy-Vee and get 11 people just stand in certain places in an order. That's a scheme, right?
Okay.
And a lot of times those guys think they're smarter than the whole wide world. Those are the guys that are too smart. Versus a system is based on principles and it's adaptable based on the personnel, situation, or game.
That's dope.
Right.
Okay.
And
like that.
And I will tell you this. Drew Brees Bryce Young reminds me of Drew Brees. Both very small, slightly built, don't look like much. Arm strength isn't Patrick Mahomes or Justin Fields or, any of those guys. But when they get with the right coach and the right system and the right culture and the right organization, and you can do that in Carolina, right? Because you have some cap space, right? And you have a relatively young team. That's why the head coach is so important, the coordinators and the GM, and then the owner just goes off and literally is just an owner. It can happen because you got Drew Brees there, and what Bryce Young can do. He's an accurate thrower of the football. He's very smart. He's actually more athletic than Drew Brees, so he can make things outside of the pocket off schedule. So then, therefore, everything's there. He just doesn't have anything around. You got to think.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So, they got Adam Thielen, who's probably at best a number 2, who's reliable, or a number 3, or 2.
Injury prone too.
Right. Or late in his career, where you have to actually lessen his reps so you can have him all season. So he's a 2B.
Yeah.
After that, name one person on offense besides Bryce Young.
That's why I was disappointed they got rid of DJ Moore. I thought.
Well, okay, DJ Moore, and guess what? They had my man Deontay Foreman, who ran for 1,200 yards last year, who actually made their offense look pretty good.
Chuba Hubbard, I got one.
Chuba Hubbard, yeah, okay, but a 1,200-yard rusher, just let him lead.
Yeah,
that's the guy that can control the clock, play action pass, allow Adam Thielen to be a little bit more of a viable option as your true number 1. And then you can kind of get the guys going. So, it's Frank Reich in the whole situation where it seemed like Frank Reich and the guys that coach wanted CJ Stroud. The owner wanted Bryce Young. Now, I will tell you that, this is from experience, right? The way that they did David Carr, Charlie Casserly with David Carr, from the get-go, not having a veteran and not having the things around him. It didn't have to be strict a whole bunch of all-star players, but just reliable veterans around him and a reliable veteran in the room. You're Derek Harper, right? Your guys.
Or your Bobby Wagner type or something like that. That can,
He didn't have it.
Yeah.
Right? Had the worst offensive line up in the NFL history.
Yeah.
Not a lifeline at any other position. And then here you go. That's what I hope. That's what I'm seeing down there. I hope it gets rectified very quickly, because that's the part of your franchise. And then also,
the issue then, Jay, with that is what you gave up now. So now you handcuff. Now you have to really dig into scouting. Yeah.
You got to really dig into free agency. You have to be able to hit on some guys that are like middle of the market guys, and then they prove it. until you can get your draft capital back and all that stuff. So
Right.
now the pressure is even more. Now is the pressure's on your scouting department and on a new coach that's coming in that doesn't have the leeway of a whole bunch of, draft picks and draft capital. Like, who could you go trade for now?
Yeah.
To go get a number one receiver. Just say you want to pay Stephon Diggs a boatload of money for the next 2 years. He didn't want to go there, but just say you don't have anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have the players.
Yep.
And then if you do, you got to give up Brian Burns, who's up for a new contract, who's essentially a stalwart in the franchise. So now you're not gaining back what you gave up. You're kind of stuck in the middle.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
So who is Bryce Young's Sean Payton? Is it a resurgent Bill Belichick? Is it someone else?
No, I don't know if Bill Belichick, if he comes there, I think him and Robert Kraft up until recently, obviously. And they've been together for so long. I don't even think it's just a strife. It's just like, hey, look, Tom Brady's gone. You're going to do each other a solid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Bill Belichick goes down there with that type of owner. I mean, if that's the case, if something, catastrophic happens to the Cowboys, he's better off going down to Dallas, dealing with Jerry Jones. At least he's a Super Bowl winner. And you already got a franchise quarterback or something close to a franchise quarterback in Dak, and you got a ton of offensive weapons. You just need to bring in whatever structure it is. Going down to Carolina with a whole new team, he needs to go to like a San Diego, possibly even wouldn't say Chicago.
Is Herbert's broken finger a chance for that franchise to reset?
No, he's there. He just signed that huge deal.
Well, I'm saying around him.
A lot of them veterans. Hey, Strick, the conversations like this, bro. We got ball till we fall. You better be on time to everything. You better be playing your best ball, because this is where the evaluation process really goes into.
This is where your money goes in the tank.
Well, because a lot of times, even though you might think that
it's a business decision.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times is you don't want. Granted, if you play well, you always potentially get another opportunity. It's not guaranteed, but you also would like to still stay there, right? Your coach is getting fired. You know it. He gone.
Mm-hmm.
And now with a new coach comes a new GM.
Yeah.
And even if you are a good player, Bill Belichick come in there, I'm telling you, one of them dudes is gone. Somebody that is a good player is going to be gone.
Business decision.
Because what they do is they just bring shockwaves through the whole locker room.
That everybody is on the
expendable.
block. Yeah,
right.
Is that Mike Williams? Is that Austin Eckler?
It'd be one of them. It'd be Eckler because he's on a franchise tag. Mike Williams, it might be late because he's so injury prone. So he's an easy target. He's hurt again. Those type of guys. But what that does is it puts everybody on notice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got a franchise quarterback. And then the pressure comes on him within a year or two. You got to get us to a deep playoff run or he's gone. So, Bryce Young in Carolina is a good franchise to where, there they go, Strick. Look at him riding. Look at him.
Hey, yo.
Look at he almost brit it, though. He had the head behind his head, but hand behind his head. I think with Carolina, it's one of those things that, what's funny is like a business that has the great front, but underneath it doesn't have any leadership and all that stuff. And they got backing or something, but just like it's something, it's like they're not getting the maximum out of it. And I think that this is the one thing I learned about ownership and owners. If the owner tries to come in and run this thing like a business, they fail. If they come in and run it like a sports franchise, they're usually successful. Just think about that. And I learned it from two people. Learned it from Ralph Wilson and Bob McNair.
Two pretty good ones.
Yeah, and Bob McNair told me about like this is where I messed up in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, we had a decent enough relationship we could just see him and talk and whatever. And that's when Tepper's running it like a business. You can't do that because business when you're so fixated on the bottom line, sports is built on emotion, right? That's why I think like Jerry Richardson, take anything that supposedly happened with him personally out of it. The way he ran that franchise, why it was so respected, is because he played. So he understood what it took. Pittsburgh Steelers, They run it. They understand the players. They're invested in their players. So they know, because a lot of times, Strick, is like,
it's tough to get somebody to run through a wall, Jay.
If as soon as Strick gets an ankle injury, you gone.
Yeah, if they don't,
So why would I do it?
Exactly.
Right, and they know the locker room, right? So just say, there's been times that people will go through personal family stuff and it affects the play, affects them on the field, but they continue to answer the bell. There's been teams that I know, Pittsburgh's one of them, Philly, as well, is that they are able to stick with you through it. And then you next thing you go, you get 3 or 4 years out and you're like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they kept it on the wraps. They went through it together. So what that means, Strick, Austin and Jay Foreman see it. We're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus as soon as Strick has an ankle injury, here comes 4 other linebackers in here and don't even give you a chance to rebound.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we got 4 dudes in here that can't play dead. And now you out here, it's a family thing. So it'll be interesting to see if I'm Bryce Young's agent, the combine is huge for me.
Yeah.
If I'm Justin Fields' agent, the combine is huge for me. You know what I mean? Because you have to protect yourself. It's no different. We're going to get into this portal stuff and stuff like that, and how you have to be strategic and smart, because sometimes you could talk yourself out of situations, and also you have to think. Don't think 6 days ahead. Think 6 years. 60 years ahead. Because that, Strick.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were blessed to have 2 dads that were able to, from their experience, different obviously careers, but we're able to have that to keep us kind of level-headed. And I'm telling you, you can let your talent be your enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
I don't want to dance on, the grave of a lot of losses the Patriots handed the Colts, but my Colts did it. They forced the Patriots' hand.
Are you guys gonna hang the banner?
I'm hanging the dang banner,
Bill
Jay.
Belichick.
I'm hanging the banner. Been too long since I've been able to. I'm hanging it. I'm doing it.
So you guys got Tom Brady out of there, and then the clock was on, and then you guys put the dagger in the heart.
We did.
You're the modern day.
We twisted.
So you guys are
we didn't just stab. We twisted.
So you're like Jon. you're like Jon Snow from Game of Thrones, right?
That's me.
Right. All right.
That's me.
You had the dragon glass. I hear you. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, Colts fans.
We did it.
You ended Bill Belichick's dominant run, and Bill Belichick looked like he's ready to get up out of there. He needs some sun.
Yeah.
He might. You know where he might go? He might go down to Arizona with Pocket Hercules.
Think Robert Kraft knows a place in Florida?
Yeah. That's where, what? Bill Belichick looked like he want to stop there. That's where he was.
Jay Foreman
got him a little membership. Hey, man, let me take over that membership.
I'm Austin. This has been On the Block. Don't go anywhere. More comes your way, 93.7 The Ticket.
There's only one place this holiday season to shop for the sports fan in your life and get cash back for slightly used sports items you don't need anymore. Play It Again Sports. Check out their selection of new and used items, including home fitness equipment like treadmills, exercise bikes, and ellipticals. And get your lift with free weights, benches, and racks to add to your home gym. And don't forget, if you have anything slightly used to trade in, they'll give you instant cash. Holiday shopping starts and ends at Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit